He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Thursday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM. We are glad you are with us. Week number 4 of the National Football League begins in a matter of moments. A battle out in the NFC West, the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. Boy, just like that, right? We're 4 weeks in to the NFL regular season as week 4, of course, kicks off tonight. And then Sunday, you got the Jaguars and the San Francisco 49ers. Of course, you will hear that game right here on 1010XL beginning at 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. Guest lineup tonight looks like this. We were back inside the Jaguar locker room this evening, caught up with Devon Hamilton and with wide receiver Tim Patrick. So we will let you hear from the big defensive lineman Devon Hamilton and with the newly acquired wide receivers Tim Patrick. I went one-on-one with those guys down in the Jaguar locker room earlier on. Former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts joins the program, as does Jose Sanchez. He is my guy out in San Francisco. 49ers on SI is where you find his terrific work. Before we get to the big deal of the night, Baloo was talking about this 5 minutes ago with me, and I had not seen it yet. Robert Saleh, the former coach of the New York Jets, now back in San Francisco, where he once served as defensive coordinator. He's now back as the San Francisco DC for Kyle Shanahan. He took to the podium earlier today getting ready for the Jaguars, much like Grant Udinski and Anthony Campanile meet the media here on Thursday. Well, the 49er coordinators meet the media out there on Thursday. Listen to what Robert Saleh said in preparation for the Jaguars regarding Liam Cohen and the coaching staff here in Jacksonville and signal stealing. Let's play the audio.
You know, Liam and his staff, coming from a couple of guys coming from Minnesota, you know, they've got a really advanced signal stealing type system where they always find a way to put themselves in an advantageous situation. They do a great job with it. They formation you to try to find any nugget they can. So we've got to be great with our signals, and we got to be great with our communication, and to combat some of the tells that we might give on the field. So they're almost elite in that regard. That whole entire tree from
a legal signal stealing operation. All right. I don't know how, if you're accusing somebody of stealing signals, how that would be legal necessarily. I don't know. And then Robert Saleh went on to say that a lot of people do it. He talked about the coaching tree under, I guess, Sean McVay. But very interesting, right? That you're getting ready to play the San Francisco 49ers, and you got Robert Saleh out there saying that the Jacksonville Jaguars, Liam Cohen, he talked about the guys from Minnesota. Obviously, that means Grant Udinski, the offensive coordinator, a legal sign stealing or signal stealing operation. All right, more on that in just a little bit. Every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal? What is the big deal?
No, because it is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
672 days. It's an interesting number, right? It's a random number. But on Sunday, September 28th, the day the Jaguars play the 49ers, it will be 672 days since the Jacksonville Jaguars have won back-to-back football games. You have to go back to November 19th, 2023, and the following week, November 26th, 2023, for the last time the Jaguars won 2 football games in a row. That's unbelievable, right? That's really, really, really bad. That was the Sunday after Thanksgiving in 2023. That was the win over Houston to get the Jaguars to 8-3 before the bottom fell out of this franchise. Come Sunday, that will be 672 days ago. And what a 672-day period it has been, right? And we've all been in it together. Lots of losses, lots of finger pointing, lots of nonsense. Quite frankly, it feels maybe a little longer than 672 days. But that's what the Jaguars are trying to do on Sunday, win 2 games in a row for the first time since November the 26th of 2023. In that time frame, the Jaguars are 1-11 in their 12 true road contests, meaning in another team's home stadium. And out in the Pacific time zone, if you want to go lifetime for the Jacksonville Jaguars, this will be their 20th game in the Pacific time zone. They're 4-15 all time. The Jaguars are going to have to beat history on Sunday. History is not in their favor. They don't play well in the Pacific time zone. They don't play well on the road. And it's been almost 2 years since they've won back-to-back football games. So what's going to happen on Sunday at 4 o'clock at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California? You know, week 1, I sat here and I picked the Jaguars to beat the Carolina Panthers. I felt really good about that. It happened. Week 2, I sat here and I picked Cincinnati to beat Jacksonville. Now, I didn't realize it was going to be Jake Browning, but Cincinnati did beat Jacksonville. And 1 week ago tonight, I sat here and said, I think Jacksonville is going to beat Houston. I didn't feel good about it, but I picked Jacksonville. And it happened. 3-0 on the year. Trying to be perfect in my Jaguar proclamations this season. So what am I going to do on Sunday? Oh, look. This is an improved Jaguar football team. It's a much better Jaguar football team. It's a Jaguar football team you could argue could very easily be 3-0. I would throw that back at you and say, yes, you could also argue they could very easily be 1-2. The fact that they landed at 2-1, I will gladly take that through 3 games. Are they going to go to San Francisco and beat the 49ers, an injured 49ers team? They could, right? They'll have every opportunity. They'll have a golden opportunity in the Golden State to knock off San Francisco amidst the 49er injury concerns. When I look at this game as a whole, one thing just cries out to me, man, and I just can't avoid it. Can't avoid it. I go back to all the numbers I just gave you. 1-11 in the last 12 road games. 4-15 lifetime of the Jaguars on the West Coast. And the fact that they haven't won back-to-back football games in 670-plus days. Give me San Francisco 23, Jacksonville 16. I hope I'm wrong. Man, I hope I'm sitting here on the 5th quarter Sunday night with the coach Gerald Ingram and the Pro Bowler Leon Searcy, and the Jaguars are going to be 3-1, and this city is going to be on cloud 9, getting ready for Monday Night Football next week against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. I really, really, really want to be wrong. But I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Or I'm not going to sit here and just tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what I believe is going to happen. If I'm wrong, it won't be the first time. Won't be the last. Hope I am wrong. But if you're asking me what I think is going to happen in San Francisco on Sunday afternoon, I think the 49ers are going to win the game by a touchdown. Let's go inside the Jaguar locker room. Earlier on, I had the opportunity to catch up with defensive lineman Devon Hamilton and wide receiver Tim Patrick as they are preparing to go out west to play those San Francisco 49ers. Inside the Jaguar locker room, my Jaguar one-on-ones coming up next. It's a Thursday night as week 4 of the NFL season kicks off. We're moments away from Arizona and Seattle. It's Hacker After Dark, 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Get ready to go viral with us.
Jeff Prosser and Dan Hickett on the Swamp Sessions podcast.
It's No Holds Barred, live streamed on the 1010XL social channels right after every Gator game.
From Voodoo Brewing Company.
Driven by Atlantic Infinity.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Jacksonville, are you ready? The college basketball season is tipping off soon with an epic in-state showdown. The defending national champion Florida Gators and the Miami Hurricanes go head-to-head in the Jacksonville Hoop Showdown. Be there Sunday, November 16th at VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena and witness this in-state rivalry live. Secure your seats now at Ticketmaster.com. It's Florida versus Miami right here at VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena, November 16th. Ticketmaster.com.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic
On
Specialists.
September 25th, 2000, Vince Carter literally jumps over 7'2" Frederick Weiss in the Summer Olympics and dunks the ball in what's known in France as Les Dunk de l'Amour.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, it only costs for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by November 6th.
Florida Gators football on 1010XL is driven by Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville. Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. And the law firm of Farah and Farah. Get Gators play-by-play on 1010XL.
Jacksonville, All Elite Wrestling is coming home to Daly's Place for 2 huge nights. Dynamite Title Tuesday, October 7th, and as special Wednesday Collision October 8th. Feel the real as the greatest professional wrestlers in the world deliver a homecoming to remember. Championships at stake on a Tuesday, and stars collide on a special night. It's AEW's Homecoming with Dynamite Title Tuesday, October 7th, and Collision October 8th. Tickets on sale now, starting at $20 at AEWTIX.com.
I love my propane company. They always answer when I call and give me great prices and fast service. Said no one ever.
Until now. Need propane for your home or business? Seabreeze Propane is bringing the propane as North Florida's new local propane provider. Visit SeabreezeLP.com. Seabreeze Propane. We make propane cool, brother. Oh, yeah.
Expert Automotive on St. John's Bluff Road has some of the highest Google reviews in Jax for a reason. Expert Auto never sells greed, only what you need. All makes and models are serviced at Expert Automotive. This month, get an alignment inspection for only $19.99. Expert Auto does major engine and transmission repair and simple maintenance. All services done at Expert Auto by our ASC certified training technicians. Call today, 374-3373, and ask about $50 off any service. Expert Automotive. We never sell greed, only what you need.
Hey, Jacksonville, Rick Ballou here. Small business owners need trucks and vans to keep your business moving? Jacksonville Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram Westside has Ram 1500s to heavy-duty 2500s, ProMasters, and custom uplifts ready to work. Visit them on Commonwealth Avenue or go online to jaxwest.com. Jacksonville Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram Westside, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local partner for work-ready vehicles.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
That's right. Week 4, National Football League, an NFC West battle tonight, Seattle and Arizona. Cardinals coming off losing James Conner for the year. Former Seminole Trey Benson is going to be the guy there now. Seattle, obviously, with Sam Darnold. Decent game tonight. Two pretty good defenses, two teams that are off to decent starts. We'll kick off Week 4 of the National Football League in a matter of moments. The Jaguars play all 4 of the NFC West teams. So when you're watching the game tonight, just keep in mind the Jaguars will see both Seattle and Arizona later in the year. In fact, they'll see Seattle in a couple of weeks, right? Week 6 is the Jaguars-Seahawks game here at Everbank Stadium. Inside the Jaguar locker room, 2 minutes away. Before we get there, again, if you missed it, don't know how big of a story it is. It might not be a big story at all, but when a defensive coordinator holds a press conference and uses the term signal stealing, says legally, he didn't, throw Liam Cohen or anybody under the bus. And I'm going to let you hear the audio, but Robert Saleh, the 49ers, earlier today, basically said, I'm paraphrasing here, that the Jaguars have a very complex legal way of signal stealing to put themselves in advantageous situations for their offense. It's of note, certainly, when the Jaguars are going out there on Sunday. Here is the 49er defensive coordinator, Robert Saleh, earlier today.
Liam and his staff, coming from a couple of guys coming from Minnesota, they've got legally a really advanced signal stealing type system where they always find a way to put themselves in an advantageous situation. They do a great job with it. They formation you to try to find any nugget they can. So we've got to be great with our signals, and we got to be great with our communication, and to combat some of the tells that we might give on the field. So they're almost elite in that regard.
There you go, Robert Saleh, the San Francisco defensive coordinator. From the Jaguar point of view, the injury report came out about an hour ago. Promising news on Dyami Brown. He left the game against Houston the second quarter with a shoulder, did not return, and he did not practice yesterday, but he was listed as a limited participant today, maybe signaling that he could potentially play on Sunday. I'm sort of surprised. We'll see what happens tomorrow and see if he ultimately does go. But the fact that he got some work in today, Dyami Brown, probably a good sign for the Jaguars moving into Sunday against San Francisco. Speaking of that game, I was down in the Miller Electric Center earlier on, got the opportunity to catch up with a couple of Jacksonville Jaguars, beginning with defensive lineman Devon Hamilton. You want to talk about a guy that's seen a lot here in Jacksonville? Think about Devon Hamilton's tenure. From a really good start to an unfortunate injury to a new contract extension, and now back for another year here in Jacksonville. I caught up with Devon Hamilton earlier on to talk about the defense and to preview this game Sunday against the San Francisco 49ers. All right, the Jaguars getting ready for the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday. We got Jaguar defensive lineman Devon Hamilton with us here on 1010XL. Devon, how'd practice go out there today?
It was smooth. It was definitely a hot day out there, but, it was one of those days where we grow as a team and just keep on working to get better.
When you have a performance like you did on Sunday, the defense was pretty good, obviously. What does that do for the confidence level of that unit going out to San Francisco?
It's just something to build off of. Obviously, we still make mistakes out there, but it does give us confidence at the end of the day and to improve, and we got something to build from.
Obviously, the turnovers have come in bunches. I think it's the first time in franchise history, 3 straight games, at least 3 turnovers. Can you put your finger on it as to why you guys are getting your hands on the football?
Honestly, we're just locking in as an entire unit. Where these practices, like I said, to help us lock in and build as a team, and just knowing where we're supposed to be at, knowing how we can affect a quarterback, and ultimately just being a solid team, solid defense.
West Coast trip coming out to San Francisco. What's your thought on the 49ers? What have you seen from them on film so far?
Always a tough team. Very disciplined, very strategic, and we just got to get after them.
Christian McCaffrey, what challenges does he present?
He's a high-level running back, and we just got to make sure we get into him, make sure we're clamping him, getting him down, and just ultimately just playing as hard as we can.
As we begin to wrap up with Devon Hamilton, 2-0 at home, obviously a tough road loss in week 2. How important is it for this team to go into somebody else's house and come out with a W?
I mean, it's always important. We're trying to win every week, just trying to put the best we can out there, whether it's by 1 point or blowout. All it is us trying to win.
Final question. How exciting is it these first 3 weeks? The fan base is obviously fired up, a 2-1 start. Do you guys sense the excitement in the city?
I think whenever we win or we're doing well, it definitely boosts up the city. We always get love, especially outside of football. I'm just out and about. Fans are always around and very excited to meet you and whatnot. So it's just wonderful.
Devon, best of luck in San Francisco. We'll be watching.
Thank you so much.
There you go, Devon Hamilton inside the Jaguar locker room. And that Jaguar defense, again, they've done something that no Jaguar defense has ever done. 3 consecutive games of forcing 3 or more turnovers. It's a crazy stat. It's an absolutely crazy stat that in the entirety of the 2024 season, all 17 games, the Jaguars forced 9 turnovers entirely last year. They've equaled that in 3 games this year. That's wild. That's an indictment on what happened last year, but also in that same breath, that's holy moly. They are forcing turnovers at an electrifying rate. 3 against Carolina, 3 against Cincinnati, and 3 more last week in the win over Houston. Now, the defense has been pretty good. The offense, on the other hand, has left a little bit to be desired, particularly the wide receiver room. A lot of drops, right? The uncertainty with De'Ami Brown, and now even though he did practice on a limited basis today. So earlier on, I caught up with Tim Patrick, clearly the veteran wide receiver of that room. Tim Patrick has been in the league for many years. He has seen a lot. He's been on some very good teams. He's new here to Jacksonville, right? He's only been here about a month or about 5 weeks. But he's got a unique perspective on the drops, on the running game, why that's working so well, and how the offense can maybe turn a corner coming up here in the next few weeks. Here's my one-on-one with Jaguar wide receiver Tim Patrick earlier down at the Miller Electric Center.
Inside the Jaguar locker room, Jaguars getting ready for the San Francisco 49ers this Sunday. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL Radio. We get Jaguar wide receiver Tim Patrick with us here on 1010XL. Tim, how'd practice go out there today?
It was hot.
It was hot. There's no doubt about that. Aside from it being warm, you get a good day in?
Yeah, great day, but it was hot.
Yeah, look, that's part of the benefit, I guess, of Florida getting ready for the warm games, but making a trip out to San Francisco as a veteran leader on this team. What's kind of the message to the young guys going out to the West Coast? I know some East Coast teams tend to struggle out there.
They know already. It's a business trip. We're not out there to look at stuff and experience things. We out there to go get a dub and take our ass back home.
2-1 so far through 3 games. So what have you liked about the offense so far? What do you guys see on tape that you think you're doing pretty well right now?
We ran the ball well, and we play with physicality, and it is for being able to win games. And we're not perfect right now. It just shows what we can do when we get the ball rolling.
Not knowing what the status of De'Ami is moving forward, how much does every wide receiver in that room kind of have to step up their game a little bit?
Everybody got to step up their game and just be prepared to play whatever position we might need out there. We think De'Ami's going to be able to play, but if he can't, I think all of us will be ready to take our game up a notch.
Clearly one of the stories, despite the win, is some of the drops that have been happening. As, again, a veteran in that wide receiver room, what's kind of the message to the young guys? How do you kind of get over those?
You got here for a reason, and just remember that.
A couple more for Jaguar wide receiver Tim Patrick. Trevor Lawrence's performance on Sunday, the pass to Brian Thomas Jr., what could that do for this offense moving forward? It was clearly the play of the game.
It's huge. First of all, just the way the game went early on, and for him to finish that way, it just shows what type of player he is, what type of his mentality is, and when we get him going, it's going to be very hard to stop us.
You've obviously been a part of some terrific running games in your career. 3 weeks in, the Jaguars are very good in the running game, one of the best in the league. Why is the running game working so well right now?
Everybody's on the same page. Everybody, a good running game is, for the most part, is when the receivers are blocking on the outside. And I think we've been doing a great job doing that.
As we begin to wrap up, what have you seen from the 49er defense on film? What challenges do they present?
They fly around to the ball. They're always hitting at the ball. The defense coordinator was there before, so they're familiar with each other. Just one of those things, man. We just got to play our game and protect the ball, and we're going to handle business.
Tim Patrick of the Jaguars, best of luck on Sunday. We'll be watching.
Thank you.
There you go, Tim Patrick with us here on Hacker After Dark. Thank you to Tim and to Devon Hamilton for joining us to preview the San Francisco 49ers. And look, it's a statement opportunity for Jacksonville. Because you beat Carolina. All right, people think Carolina's terrible. You then lose to Jake Browning. This is the national perception, right? Mind you, is what I'm talking about. You lose to Jake Browning. All right, same old Jaguars. And Jacksonville gets no credit for beating Houston because nationally the narrative is, well, what's wrong with C.J. Stroud? What's wrong with the Texan offense? Has nothing to do with the Jaguar defense, mind you. Everybody talking about that game, it's how bad C.J. Stroud is and how do you fix him, not giving the Jaguars credit. You go to San Francisco, and if you beat an undefeated 49ers team, well, I think that will get some attention. And then you have Monday Night Football where all cameras will be on you. And can you imagine welcoming in Mahomes and the Chiefs if you're coming off back-to-back wins over Houston and San Francisco, what that environment would be like at Everbank Stadium a week from Monday? Oh, it would be unbelievable. It would be fantastic. And hopefully we get there. Hopefully that happens. Again, I picked it earlier. I'm not going to shy away from it. I like the Niners by a touchdown. The Jaguars have to prove it to me. Because in 672 days, they haven't won back-to-back games. In 19 lifetime trips to the Pacific West Coast, the Jaguars have only won 4 of those 19. And in the last 12 true road games, the Jaguars have won 1 of the last 12. There's a lot of history, a lot of numbers working against them on Sunday, but we'll see if Liam Cohen and this new coaching staff can get these players ready and if they can go out there and get it done. Every week here on Hacker After Dark, we welcome in my buddy Cecil Shorts, former wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He spent 7 years in the National Football League, 4 of those right here in Duval. Let's break down the Jaguar win over Houston. Let's look ahead to San Francisco. Cecil played 7 years as a wide receiver. Let's ask him about the drops. Let's ask him about what he would do with Travis Hunter moving forward. We'll get pretty in-depth on the Jags moving forward. Former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts next right here on Hacker After Dark.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. Hacker here for the best weight loss program that I've ever been on. You want to lose 30 pounds in the next month and a half, 2 months? It's doable. If you got to lose more than that, like I did, I had to lose over 100 pounds. If that's your goal, what would you think about doing that in the next 3, 4 months, 5 months? It's doable with Awaken 180 weight loss. The coaching you get, the guidance you get, if you follow the program, if you listen to the tutelage, you will drop the weight. Guys, I'm living proof of it. I was 317 pounds, lost over 100 of that, thanks to the great folks of Awaken 180 Weight Loss. If it's time for you to drop the weight like it was for me, go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. If I can do it, you can do it. Trust me when I tell you. Awaken 180 weight loss.
Homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roof and Contracting. Save up to 20% on roof replacements and repairs now through September 30th. Financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting, protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, Jason, thanks for coming over so quick.
Sure thing, pal. What's the big... Whoa!
See, I told you there was a smell.
Yeah, it smells like...
Exactly, or a dead one more like it.
You need some fresh air in here.
Well, this is the problem, Jason. I've kept everything sealed up tight all summer long so I don't lose all my nice cool air. Now all the dog smells and cooking smells and home gymnasium man cave smells are all building up and I can barely...
Dude, where are the Bueller sunglasses I gave you?
Oh, I don't know. They must be in my other...
Put on my emergency pair. Whoa. Bueller Air and Plumbing can install an air purification add-on to your existing air conditioner. Clean the air of dust and pollen and funky smells while you cool.
So I can keep all the cool air I saved up?
And your place won't smell like a dead...
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
I'm Scott Hansen, host of NFL Red Zone. Lowe's knows Sundays are for football. That's why we're here to help you get your next DIY project done, even when the clock isn't on your side. Whether that's a new Filtrete filter or Bosch and Cobalt power tools, Lowe's has everything you need to feel like the MVP of DIY. So get it done and earn your Sunday. Shop now in-store and online. Lowe's, official partner of the NFL.
Here's your 1010XL community calendar of local events and nonprofit groups helping people here at home.
Tee off for a cause. Join Junior Achievement of North Florida for the Golf Classic September 29th at San Jose Country Club. Help support financial literacy for local students. Find out how at janfl.org.
Laugh to defeat prostate cancer at the Comedy and Cocktails Awareness event featuring music, food, drinks, and of course comedy. October 2nd at the Jesse Ball DuPont Center.
The average cost associated with childhood cancer is a startling $833,000. This is Tom Coughlin, and September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Help the J Fund raise awareness to help our neighbors and community members tackling this devastating disease. Visit tcjfund.org/September for more information.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
Football season is back, baby. Hicken here, and I know I'm excited to get back to watching some ball over the weekend. But with the fun comes responsibility. Taking care of your skin while outside, extremely important. We know it feels like 100 out there, and that sun is blazing. Make sure you bring the screen while loading up all that tailgate. It's simple. Protect your skin. It's the Sunshine State. To help you protect your skin, Beaches Dermatology is here. I've been going to them for years, and my skin thanks me for it. Book your appointment today at beachesdermatology.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the 49ers, Sunday, 4 o'clock. Of course, you will hear the game right here on 1010XL. The 2-1 Jaguars, the undefeated 3-0 San Francisco 49ers, and what is looking like one of the better games of Week 4 in the National Football League. Let's look back to Houston. Let's preview San Francisco, and let's talk about the drops here in Jacksonville and what can be remedied with that, with a former Jaguar wide receiver. Spent 7 years in the National Football League. We're lucky enough to have him every week during the season. That's my buddy Cecil Short. Cecil, how we doing, man?
RG, I'm good, man. How about yourself?
Cecil, we're good. Thank you for the time. All right, we always refer to it as the Cecil Shorts Bowl. Last week, Jacksonville over Houston, two of your former teams, 17-10. What were your takeaways from the Jaguar perspective, getting a victory last week over their division rival?
You know what? I thought it was impressive as far as kind of getting over the hump as finishing games. Like, I feel like in the last, I don't know, I'll say 10 years, maybe decade, those are the type of games that Jaguars lose. Like, and I've been a part of those games, right? Like, you're in a close game. It's an ugly game. It's a fight. It's a dog fight to the end, and you find a way to win. That's a really big deal. Because in the past, I feel like there's to find ways to lose. And I'm a firm believer that good teams find ways to win tough games and bad teams find ways to lose. And with you finding a way to win, And going 2-1 and getting that division win, that's a huge deal. So I was impressed with that. That's the biggest thing that impressed me this past Sunday.
And getting the win over Houston to end that streak. The Texans had won every time they'd been to Jacksonville since 2017. That, of course, ended on Sunday. Quickly, because I'm curious, we'll obviously spend the rest of the time on the Jaguars. From a Houston point of view, they're 0-3 now. They just released Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I mean, they got problems out there, right?
Yeah, they got some issues they need to figure out. I think all night, Hines Allen was in CJ's face and just killing Ursary, the young tackle for the Jaguars they drafted in the second round. But they got some things they need to work on. You know, their defense is really good. It gave Trevor and the offense some troubles this past Sunday. So they'll always be in the game, but their offense has to figure it out, and they have to figure it out ASAP because you can't go 0-4. You have the Tennessee Titans this week. They have to figure out a way to get a divisional win against the struggling Tennessee Titans, but they got to figure this out quickly. They're supposed to be playoff contenders and trying to go a deep run to the playoffs, but you can't do that with an inept offense. And just to be honest with you, I'm done with babysitting for C.J. Stroud. It's time for him to step up and prove he can be the guy consistently. And right now, he's not doing that. He threw 2 bad interceptions. One bad interception, the other one was tipped. But he's not been playing up to his level. He needs to step it up. And I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I really don't care about the offensive line issues because Joe Burrow and others fight through that and still find ways to win and be productive, right? So I think it's big on him this year to get things going for that Texans offense.
Former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts. Yeah, the Texans and the Titans this week. Somebody is going 0-4, which is probably a death nail for their playoff hopes. All right, back to the Jaguars. They won last week, probably in spite of the offense, to be frank, Cecil. It was not a good offensive performance. You're the perfect person to ask. 7 years as a wide receiver in the National Football League. Why can Jaguar wide receivers not catch the ball?
You know what? It was interesting. It was interesting because the week before, Parker Washington, I think he had 5 targets, 5 receptions, led the team against the Bengals, led the team in receiving yards. Week before that, it might have been somebody else, right? So you see the talent in the room. It could be different guys each week. But the amount of drops that I saw on Sunday, they had to fix. And I think it's just honestly, it's just a mental thing. It's just going back to the start, making sure you're looking the ball all the way to your hands. When you catch it, squeeze it, and then run upfield, right? It's so important that you do one thing at a time. And I think what they're doing is pressing a little bit, especially BTJ. He's pressing a little bit. Relax. You are that dude, right? You've been there before. You know how to do this. Catch the ball first, then take off. Just like he did the last play or the big play, the 46-yard play from towards the end of the game to kind of seal it. Like, that's huge. Like, you can do this. But mentally, I think they need to slow down some. If I was a receivers coach in practice, I'll go back to the fundamentals. I'll go back to the basics, a lot of catching drills, a lot of pass catching drills over and over and over again, just to reiterate catching the ball first, right? I would do tons of drills of catching, then running, and just reiterate the basics over and over again. Because at this level, you don't practice catching as much as you do the concepts or the routes or the releases or whatever the case may be. It's kind of like, okay, you should know how to catch, right? But when you have these droughts or these spots where you're dropping the ball a lot, now it's time to go back to the basics, do tons of pass catching, tons of reminders on what you should do when you catch the ball, how you should catch the ball, and then from there go into everything else. So they can be okay. The talent's in the room, whether it's BTJ or Strange had a really good game. There's 6 catches on 7 targets. So guys can pop up and make plays. It's just about being consistent and helping your quarterback.
There is some uncertainty, Cecil, about De'Ami Brown. One would guess that he's probably not going to go at least this week. We don't know what the long-term prognosis is, but if De'Ami is down, Travis Hunter then would probably have to emerge, right? He only caught 1 pass, and the 1 pass he caught, he made a play last week, 21-yard gain on a 1st and 20. But clearly, if De'Ami's not in there, they got to get the ball to Travis Hunter, do they not?
Yeah, he has to be involved in some type of way. You didn't draft him not to have him involved, right? I think it's interesting. He only had 1 catch last week. I'm just trying to figure out how they're going to use him. And I believe last week they said they're going to use him more on defense. So this week maybe they use him more on offense. But with him out, he would have to have more than 1 or 2 targets. I mean, he looked really good when he got the ball in his hands. He made guys miss, made a couple guys miss actually. Big gain, 20-yard explosive play, 21-yard play actually. So he can make plays. I'm just worried about Travis. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't know if he's getting enough time on either side of the ball to be great, and I think he has potential to be fantastic. It's just going to take time, I guess, right? So I'm trying to be patient with it. I'm trying to work through it myself. But he definitely will need to touch the ball because it'll be him, it'll be Strange, it'll be BTJ, and I guess Parker Washington in there, right? So those will probably be your big 4 going into this week against a really good San Francisco defense.
Couple more for former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts. You look on the defensive side of the ball, Cecil, the Jaguars, for the first time in franchise history, and that's 30-plus years, forced 3 turnovers or more in 3 consecutive games. They had 9 forced turnovers the entirety of 2024. They've had 9 forced turnovers in 3 weeks in 2025. Can you put your finger on it as to why the defense is getting their hands on that football?
Man, I can't put my finger on it, but I know turnovers come in bunches, and each and every week they've been doing a heck of a job. I think the turnovers from last week, if I just look at it, obviously you forced a fumble, right, with Nico Collins in the big, I think 3 minutes left in the game or 3:28 left in the game. That was huge. I love Jordan Lewis and how he's playing in the secondary, especially last week. He did a good job of baiting C.J. Stroud on that interception that he'd had. He almost had another one down the seam. He's aggressive to the ball. And then Josh Hines-Allen, when you get pressure on the QB and you can tip it or hit his arm and the ball goes in the air, they're making the most out of their opportunities. That's what they're doing. And they're being very aggressive when the ball is in the air, when the ball is on the ground. They're finding ways to get it. And what you're doing is you're creating identity that you're a ball-hawking defense this season. And when you can do that, that builds confidence that you can get the ball back to your offense. That builds confidence that no matter what's going on during the drive, that you can make a stop, you can figure it out. And that's huge, man. It's a big difference between this year and last year when it comes to defensive confidence, the defensive out there swarming to the ball, the defense out there taking the ball away. And that's a momentum swing that is hard to come by. Like, it's hard to overcome for offense. It's hard to overcome in the game when you're driving down the field, all of a sudden, boom, you lose the ball, right? Especially at a home game like last week. So they're doing a heck of a job, man. They're building this identity of being a ball hawking, being a takeaway defense, and that's what you want in your defense.
So I want to end with your thoughts on San Francisco, but quickly, 2 guys that are in contract years for the Jaguars. We talked about ETN a little bit last week. Devin Lloyd on the defensive side of the ball as well. Both guys are scheduled to become free agents after the season. Both guys are playing their tails off. And in fact, I think Devin Lloyd might be playing the best football of his NFL career right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he continues towards the end of the year, they kind of lock him up. Like he's doing some special things on the field. That's why you drafted him as high as you did. That's why you brought him in here. But the way he's playing right now, if he can keep this up, I wouldn't be surprised if they pay him to stay around a little longer. I'm still not sold Jacksonville is going to sign Travis yet. I love Travis. I want him to be a Jaguar. Like you said, he's balling right now. He's doing what he's asked to do in the passing game, in the running game. It's just with running backs, it's tricky. That's just what it is. You never know what the mark is going to be. You never know what ETN may be looking for. From what I can see, I would think he would want to stay, be with his college quarterback, be with Liam Cohen and really build something here special in Jacksonville. It seems like they got a good culture going, but you just never know. You just never know. I think him and Tootin can be a nice 1-2 punch. But if he continues the ball, the goal is for a player to make it tough on the organization to let him go. Make it tough on the organization not to pay him what they want or what they feel like they're worth. So right now, those 2 guys are balling, doing a good job of making it tough on the organization.
Final moments with former Jaguar Cecil Shorts. All right, San Francisco, Cecil, on Sunday. First and foremost, a West Coast trip. The Jaguars in the Pacific time zone all time are just 4-15, and maybe the more troubling number, they're just 1-11 in their last 12 true road games. So it's a long trip. It's on the road. They're going to have to beat a little bit of history here if they want to come out of California with a W.
Yeah, it's always tough. They'll leave a little early. They'll probably leave on a Friday to get used to the time zone. But this is a statement game, I feel like. You have a chance to go to a 3-0 team and really make a statement and say, hey, we're for real this year. Like, we're not messing around. And it's going to be on the offense to pick it up some, right? Because the defense for the San Francisco is going to be really good. Robert Saleh's doing a really good job kind of revitalizing that defense and getting them going. And they're getting to the ball well and taking it away and forcing the opponents to punt pretty well. So it's going to be tough for Trevor and those guys, but if they go out there and play their high game, they can do it, man. They can do it. So it's going to be a good road test. I love what I'm seeing from the defensive side of the ball. It seems like, especially last week, Eric Armstead, Josh Hines-Allen, Walker, whoever's on that defensive line, that front seven is really getting after the quarterback. They seem like they're having fun. They seem like they're enjoying it. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can get to Mac Jones or I'm not sure if Brock Purdy's back this week, but you have to, on the defensive side of the ball, know where Christian McCaffrey is. I think last game he had 10 catches. Like he is, he's been battling some injuries, but he still is Christian McCaffrey, whether it's running the ball or in the passing game. So Devin Lloyd, whoever the safeties may be, have to cover him. It's going to be a test, but if you can go out there and get this W in California on the West Coast, you're making a statement that you're for real.
See, so we got 60 seconds, final question. And look, the Jaguars just lost to Jake Browning 2 weeks ago, so I'm not making that big a deal out of this, but I'm curious your thoughts. The 49ers had 15 guys on their injury report earlier this week. They just lost Bosa for the year, no George Kittle. Both Mac Jones and Brock Purdy were limited in practice, which means third-team guy Adrian Martinez was actually getting first-team reps. If you're a player on the 49ers, the fact that they're 3-0 is amazing, but at some point do you throw up your hands and say, what the heck, man? I mean, what is going on here?
Yeah, you gotta figure out what's going on. I'm not sure if it's, you look at the strength training that's going on, if you look at just, you gotta look at all things, the nutrition, what the heck is going on, because it's not only been this year, it's been the last couple of years, right? That has been some major injuries to some major people very consistently. So they gotta figure out what they're doing. You kind of break down, okay, how do we go about this? What's happening? What are the consistent injuries? And how do we debunk it? How do we get rid of this? You know what I mean? You know what? You mentioned the name, Mac Jones. Wasn't Mac Jones the backup last year in Jacksonville?
He was. Yeah, he actually started the last month and a half.
So that would be interesting for him to play against Jacksonville, because I feel like the defense would know him pretty well when it comes to his tendencies, what he likes, what he doesn't like. So I think that'd be an interesting matchup if he gets to start. I'm pretty sure Brock is going to try his best to get back out there, but I would love to see Mac Jones versus this Jacksonville defense, and Jacksonville get after him a little bit.
Former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts, always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Cecil, enjoy the ball games this weekend. Next week, Monday Night Football comes to Jacksonville as Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs roll in. We'll preview it next Thursday. Thank you, my friend.
Hey, always good to talk to you, RG. Take care.
Looking out over that Golden Gate Bridge.
It's a gold rush to the Golden Gate. Duval Pride takes a long ride to the Golden State.
Let's go!
Jaguars, 49ers. It's a make-a-statement kind of game. Sunday at 4 on the home of the Jaguars. 1010 XL.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. Thank you for trusting us for 55 years of custom welding fabrication and vehicle towing accessories. When you need a trailer hitch for the family car, a gooseneck for the company truck, or even RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We can do a bumper hitch, fifth wheel hitch, anything for safe, reliable towing. Come to Cannons of Jacks, where service is our #1 priority and we treat our customers as we like to be treated. Check us out online, cannonsofjacks.com.
Get ready. Monday Night Football is coming to Everbank Stadium October 6th. And this is a matchup you won't want to miss. Your Jacksonville Jaguars are throwing it back in their Prowler jersey as they take on the Kansas City Chiefs under the primetime lights. Don't wait. Be a part of the action. Get your tickets now by visiting us online at jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We can't wait to see you at the bank for primetime football.
Get the real story from people who know the beautiful game best. The Coaches Show, presented by Sporting Jacks with Cole Pepper, Sporting Jacks head of soccer Mark Warburton, and Sporting Jacks women's coach Stacey Ballum. Tuesday nights at 6
on 1010 AM.
Unlike those big corporate-owned stores, Beards Diamonds doesn't rely on AI to help you find the right diamond. Beards Diamonds specializes in DI, Diamond Intelligence. As Town Center's only locally owned jeweler with international connections, Beards Diamonds is the smart choice for choosing the right jewelry for any occasion. Our Diamond Intelligence comes from years of helping your Jacksonville neighbors and connecting them to beautiful, dazzling diamonds from top designers like Tacori and Verragio. Diamond Intelligence is about finding the diamond that expresses what words can't and leaves her speechless. And Diamond Intelligence is tapping into partners from around the globe to find your true treasure without the middleman markups and bottom-line algorithms. Come experience the local, loyal, and helpful difference of Beards Diamonds in Town Center, home of Diamond Intelligence. There's nothing artificial about it. Beards Diamonds, proud to be Jacksonville's jeweler at the St. John's Town Center.
Here's a health and wellness tip from orthopedic specialists of Jacksonville.
Here's a simple tip for shoulder health to improve your posture. Slouching can put extra stress on your shoulders, leading to pain and injury. Make sure your head is over your shoulders are relaxed and pulled back, and your spine is properly aligned. Whether you're sitting or standing, if you sit for long periods of time, make sure to get up and take breaks and work on pulling your shoulders back. Get up and get moving, Jax, and go Jags.
Stay healthy with orthopedic specialists of Jacksonville.
I know you love sports, so why not take that passion and make a difference in your community as a volunteer coach with the YMCA? Whether it's soccer, basketball, volleyball, or flag football, the Y is always looking for positive role models to help kids grow in both skills and character. Even if you've got no coaching experience, that's fine. We'll provide the training. Step up, give back, and be the coach that makes a difference. To volunteer, visit your local Y or fcymca.org.
Hey, Jacksonville DDH. Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your national builder of the year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99% in homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dfhsalesevent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. I always brag on what you guys have on-road and off-road. But Greg, tell everybody about what's happening on the water, because you got loads of opportunity.
We do. We've got lots of boats in stock. We got the Honda 19-foot Fisher Runabout. We've got the Coach pontoons, all of them with that legendary Honda motor and legendary Honda reliability, which you always want when you're out on the water.
You could be cruising along the Intercoastal or out on the ocean, but check it out. Facebook page ready for all of you to see, Cycles of Jacksonville, or their showroom on Atlantic near Regency.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the 49ers, Sunday, 4 o'clock. Of course, you will hear the game right here on 1010XL. The 2-1 Jaguars, the undefeated 3-0 San Francisco 49ers, and what appears to be on paper one of the better games in Week 4 of the National Football League. Our guy out in San Francisco when it comes to the 49ers is Jose Sanchez. 49ers on SI is where you find his terrific work, and Jose is always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Jose, how you doing, man?
It's good to hear from you again, Ryan. It only feels like just yesterday we last talked to each other, but it's always a joy when I get to see your text and hop on.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you and I always do our division previews, and normally that's pretty much the extent of it because the Jaguars very rarely play the 49ers, but for the first time in 8 years, Jacksonville will make the trip to the West Coast this Sunday. Jose, obviously a lot to get into with you, but first and foremost, 3-0 is 3-0 amidst all the injuries. People out in San Francisco have to be pretty thrilled right now.
Oh, definitely. The way it's just transpired is just kind of unreal. I mean, it's just funny because all three wins, like, granted, they aren't like the greatest of opponents, right? Although the Seahawks might actually look like a solid team now. These are games that the 49ers last year, no matter who they had, injuries or not, were not going to win. Like, the 2024 49ers do not gut out these 3 wins. They would have folded at the end. But somehow they've been able to emerge and just really show that improvement, that locked in. Part of it's the personnel change, coaching changes. Because look, even with the injuries this year, they're able to pull that through. So I think personally, I view it more as a culture standpoint. They were just locked in because one of the messages last year that they wanted to correct was, hey, we kept looking forward to the playoffs and the Super Bowl. We weren't locked into the regular season. Kind of like how in NBA playoffs, right? You have like the players, they're just kind of like coasting to the regular season until they get to the playoffs. That's what the 49ers did last year, which makes sense after so many playoff and Super Bowl heartbreaks. This year, they're kind of more locked in. I mean, the rejuvenation with all the rookies they brought in who have actually looked stellar so far, surprisingly. And it's just kind of all comes together. They're all buying in and playing cohesively and just playing at a high level and giving great effort, which is, yeah, I don't even think even the 49ers forecasted this to be this way.
Yeah, 3-0 for San Francisco as they are one of the last remaining undefeated teams in the NFL. Jose, there is no doubt, though, those 3 wins have come at a price, and a lot of injuries beginning to mount, including the latest one. Nick Bosa, torn ACL, out for the year. I mean, obviously, I probably know the answer to this. I'm going to ask you anyway. How big a loss is that for San Francisco?
Oh, man, yeah, just imagine whoever is your biggest loss on the Jaguars, just probably put that with another extra player because that's how much he's done, what he means to this defense, what he means to the team. Forget the defense. I mean, he is one of the leaders, even though he's not the greatest speakers out there. He's not raw, maybe a man a few words, but when Bosa talks, you're going to listen, right? I mean, the moment Michael Williams was drafted, the first round pick of the 49ers in April, like it took him days to start hitting up Nick Bosa and just pretty much treating his brain like a buffet because he just wanted to just grab all the knowledge he could from Bosa, and Bosa was there for him. So it just shows how much he's just meant from on the field and off the field. I mean, what he does in the run game to be able to just blow up defenders, and what he does from a pass game. I mean, heck, look at the play that Bosa tore his ACL on. He was double teamed, so that just shows like how much of an influential player he is. Because of him, he's allowed Michael Williams to really unleash. He's allowed the newly acquired pass rusher from the offseason, Bryce Huff, to really get going. And now without him, it's like, from the Jaguars' perspective, Liam Cohen is like, oh, good. Now we only have to worry about Michael Williams and Bryce Huff in terms of from a pass rushing standpoint, and it's really not much else we got to worry about. So it's just so much easier from offense now to just plan against the 49ers defensively. The run defense, I think, won't see that much of a drop-off because the players they put together there are all like great run defenders. But the pass rushing now, when Trevor Lawrence has to drop back, I think you're feeling a little more comfortable with him being in a nice, clean pocket, not being flustered.
Jose Sanchez is our guy out in San Francisco. 49ers on SI is where you see his work. Of course, the Jaguars and the 49ers, Sunday, 4 o'clock. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL. The Jaguars have 2-1, and they have not had very many injury issues. San Francisco 3-0. A ton of injury issues. We just talked about Bosa. Now let's get to Brock Purdy and Jacksonville's own Mac Jones, who has come in the last 2 weeks and led the 49ers to victories over New Orleans and last week over Arizona. What is the status on Purdy? I know we're still sort of early in the week, but is the expectation for him to play on Sunday against Jacksonville?
Yeah, I'd say it's a very strong chance he's going to play. I personally would actually go as far as say I expect him to play. I mean, he was limited all last week. I think part of that was kind of gamesmanship, right? You want the Cardinals to waste their precious practice time allocating towards a plan for Mac Jones and Brock Purdy. So that's smart on the 49ers standpoint. And also you get Purdy to actually kind of test it, limit test to see where that turf toe is at. Because obviously if you're the 49ers, you don't want to rush him back because, you know, God forbid you have a Joe Burrow situation, right? So the 49ers Brock Purdy can exhale like, okay, we don't have this situation. And he's looking fine. He's back after a week on the practice field, and we gave him another week off. Yeah, I think he's going to come back, especially because Mac Jones, I think he re-aggravated his knee injury from the preseason. So the fact that he was able to do what he did in the final moments against the Cardinals is massively impressive. I mean, he's been able to keep the offense afloat, and that's I think you kind of saw why Kyle Shanahan wanted to pick between him and Trey Lance. He's been a fit for this offense, and he's been a great backup. And if Purdy has to miss any more games down the line, I think they can feel confident knowing that they could win the game. But yeah, I would definitely fully expect Brock Purdy to be back this week. I'd be a little surprised if he isn't. Although they're really going to have to have him do some favors and get some run blocking, because I saw on some next-gen stats that the Jaguars are pretty good at getting time to pressure on quarterbacks. I know they don't have the sack numbers, but they're I think they're 10th in quarterback pressures, and their time to pressure, they're one of the best at getting there. So I think that's where they're going to have to really try to protect Purdy. But yeah, I anticipate Purdy to play this week.
Yeah, Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker here are both off to really good starts in 2025. Jose, when I looked at the 49ers schedule, the one thing that kind of jumped out to me is you guys have an enormous division game 4 days after the Jaguar game against the Rams. And my thought was, all right, they got a lot of injured guys. They're 3-0. If guys aren't 110% ready, might they be willing to hold them out of Jacksonville so that they are ready 4 days later against the Los Angeles team in a big NFC West game? Am I overthinking that?
Oh, you're not overthinking that at all. That's very sound. And they kind of should probably take that approach, right? Because the Rams, look, I think maybe if the Rams beat the Eagles, that'd be a little more, you have a little more like, okay, like we really have to like lock in because this team is real and we have to be at full strength. But I think still like, no, that makes perfect sense. I just think in terms of from the 49ers perspective, they kind of operate under like, hey, if a player is ready, we're going to play them. And I think if there's any doubt if Purdy's not healthy, like say he's only like 85 or 90, then I don't think they probably will play them. However, again, as circling back to Jones's injury, he just re-aggravated that. So it's like, okay, how much is he going to be out there? Now all of a sudden you're looking at a 70%, maybe 50% Mac Jones versus an 80, 90 Brock Purdy. And it's just, they're kind of in a tough spot here where almost now you have to default into Purdy. But in terms of other injuries, like Juwan Jennings, like he was dealing with a shoulder in week 1. Now it's an ankle. Is he going to play? But they're going to get Demarcus Robinson back from suspension. So maybe that's a little easier. I mean, obviously George Kittle's on injured reserve. They just have a rookie CJ West who broke his hand or his wrist or his thumb, and he might be out this week because he has that surgery. There's just a lot of options they're going to have to consider. But I think in terms of like the main issue they're looking at right now is the quarterback injuries and Juwan Jennings, because I think those are the ones that they're going to have to be like, do we hold him out and let him be stout against the Rams? Because last year for Juwan Jennings, he took off against the Rams. He had an explosive game in LA, and that's where they're going to end up going on that Thursday night in a little over a week here. So, no, I think that's very sound logic. But I think the 49ers here, they kind of – I don't think they want to overlook Jacksonville either. I think they want to keep the momentum they got going from this nice, thrilling win over the Cardinals.
Final moments, Jose Sanchez, 49ers on SI with us here on 1010XL. Jose, Ricky Pearsall appears to be coming into his own. The former Florida Gator had a huge game last week in the win over Arizona. How has Pearsall looked so far?
Man, I had to pull a Shaquille O'Neal and tell Ricky Pearsall I have to apologize. I was unfamiliar with your game because he's been silky. I literally wrote in my game article is this guy's arrived. Like it's so crazy how we've come from being so concerned. Like, is he about to be an injury-prone player? Because he missed all of OTAs and the beginning of training camp with a hamstring injury, the same hamstring that bothered him this time last year in training camp. So it's like, man, what's going on here? Like, this guy's like, there's always something like going on with his body, like a soft tissue injury. He's like, what's up? And then ever since that, it's like, oh no, like he hasn't been close to anywhere near getting injured. I mean, even when he made that amazing 4th and 2 down the sideline 30-yard catch against the Cardinals, he looked gimpy getting up, and you kind of hold your breath, but then like 30 seconds later, it's like, oh no, he's fine. It's like now it's like we have no injury worries. And not only that, it's like this guy is like a pure number 2 borderline wide receiver 1 for a majority of offenses in the NFL. He's just silky with his route running. He doesn't miss an opportunity when the ball's like anywhere in his range, so he's never going to drop a pass, it feels like. He's just reliable. It's like anytime you throw the ball in there, like, oh, well, number 1's going to catch it. Ricky Pearsall's going to catch it, and he's probably going to do something. This is the kind of receiver the 49ers have needed for years, is those amazing route runners. I think that's kind of why they drafted them, because they were making that shift away from the Deebo Samuels, the yard after the catch, because that was the offense that worked when they had the Jimmy G's, right? The Jimmy Garoppolos, the guys who couldn't make the good throws past 5 air yards past the line of scrimmage. But now because we have a Purdy, we have a Mac Jones, it's now let's get these guys who can create separation down the field and can deliver it to these guys. And sure enough, now you got Ricky Pearsall who's tearing it up, and it's just looking real amazing. And I can only imagine what this offense is going to look like when you do get Kittle back, Robinson's back, if McCaffrey in the running game starts actually getting going, and then you get Brandon Ayuk back in like a month and a half or 2. It's just going to be really crazy to see how defenses are really going to address this offense with him flourishing.
Jose, final question. We got 90 seconds. There's always a stigma about Jacksonville, and truthfully, they've kind of earned that as being one of the worst teams in the league for the better part of the last 10 or 15 years. But the Jaguars are 2-1, coming off a win over C.J. Stroud and the Texans. What is the early thought on Jacksonville out there in the Bay Area?
Yeah, well, it's always an AFC game, right? So I don't think there's always to a degree of like it's just Jacksonville's AFC, so these are not weighted probably the same way the Jaguars are looking at the 49ers, right? But I think it kind of goes the same way. Like they're not going to overlook this team. They faced Liam Cohen last year with the Bucs, and Liam Cohen is an amazing coach. I love that hire for the Jaguars. I think the 49ers also love that Liam Cohen was hired because that meant Robert Saleh was coming back because they both were interviewing for that job, I recall. And I just think, yeah, they're not going to be a team they're going to take lightly. I know they're going to cite Eric Armstead on that side, and they're going to have to really bring it to this team. Like there is no overlooking these guys. I think after last year, they kept overlooking teams, and like I said, looking ahead. And now that you're locked in, you got to really figure out like these guys are all any given Sunday. These guys can beat us. We've come close games. We can't overlook them. Let's get this right so we can go 4-0 against a tough Rams team on Thursday night.
Jose, 30 seconds. You piqued my interest. Will Armstead get a warm reception out there on Sunday?
Hey, honestly, he better. I think he should. But I could see a little bit like of some boo birds because some people necessarily feel like he underachieved given his draft status and the way. But ultimately, I think he's going to definitely be welcome warms by the team, and especially Saleh, because no one propped up Eric Armstead more than Robert Saleh. So I think they're going to be giving him lots of warm hugs and just really happy to see him again.
Jose Sanchez, our guy out in San Francisco, 49ers on SI is where you'd find his work, and go check him out this week as the Jaguars head out to the Bay Area Sunday, 4 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear it right here on 1010XL. Jose, enjoy the ball game on Sunday. We'll talk soon, pal.
Appreciate it, Ryan. Thank you.
Get a look behind the throw with Denny Thompson.
Yeah, I want to tell you what's really happening at the quarterback position.
Denny Thompson is the quarterback whisperer. Friday mornings on The Drill, revved up by George Moore Chevrolet and Tyson Sound and Security on 1010XL.
Jacksonville, it's game time. And just like the Jaguars fight for every yard on the field, Duck Duck Rooter fights for every customer at home. From plumbing repairs to septic pump outs to keeping your AC cool all season long, we've got the winning playbook. Duck Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars and delivers championship service every time. When plumbing, septic, or AC problems put you on defense, don't fumble the call. Dial 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter, when you're stuck, call the Duck.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Garrett Scantling here, and once again, thanks to Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, I'm back to training for the 2028 Olympics in LA. My torn hip labrum issue is resolved thanks to Dr. Doward, and Dr. Acevedo keeps my feet healthy too. Training and competing, that's what it's all about for me. And Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has me in top condition.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Yo, E.T. here, and Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes through in the clutch every day, from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar, Twin Peaks. Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge. Come on, somebody.
When you roll into a convenience store for some cold Bud Light, you want to make sure it's, well, cold. Check out the big coolers at Circle K. They make sure it's chilled and ready to go for the big game or party. Swing by Circle K and pick up some cold Bud Light.
Soft takes are boring. That's why I dropped the hammer on the Frangie Show. I'm Hayes Carlyon. Listen for Hammer Time with Hayes, weekday afternoons on 1010XL.
Hammer Time with Hayes, driven by Kia on Atlantic.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
He thinks he knows what he's talking about.
Of course.
Find out if he does.
Is there anything else we need to know?
Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco every Friday afternoon on The Frangie Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Been in a car crash? I'm local attorney Rick Alexander, and I've made it our mission at the Alexander Law Practice to listen to you so I can fight for the best possible result for you. I've been practicing over 30 years, and our team focuses on guiding you through the entire process. And because fees and reimbursement costs come out at the end of the case, I will never ask you to come out of pocket. For a free review, call 904-400-6600 or log on to alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I only like to recommend the best, which is why I'm proud to say that I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. And now's a great time to upgrade your home with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
Hey, this is Lauren Brooks. With over 1,600 five-star Google reviews, it was a no-brainer to have Closets by Design help us get organized at home. They create custom storage solutions for every space, lifestyle, and budget. From closets to garages to laundry rooms and more. Closets by Design will transform clutter into seamless organization. Call today to schedule a free in-home consultation and get 40% off plus an extra 15% off with free installation. But only until September 30th. 18 months financing is available. Call 904-878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Week 4 of the National Football League underway. Seattle a 7-3 lead over Arizona in the second quarter. Kyler Murray, a couple of picks. One that was his fault. The other that just happened was not. Hit Marvin Harrison Jr. right in the hands. Bounces up into the arms of Jones, the linebacker, for the second pick of the game. So Seattle has it. They have a 7-3 lead. Sam Darnold with a touchdown pass out there for the Seattle Seahawks. A battle of 2-1 teams. The winner tonight, of course, goes to 3-1 on the year. That's what the Jaguars are going to try to do on Sunday as they travel out of San Francisco to play the 49ers, 4 o'clock. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL. Before all of that, it's a terrific weekend in college. Really starts tomorrow night, right? Florida State, Virginia. Then you got LSU, Ole Miss. You got Tennessee, Mississippi State. You got a huge one between Georgia and Alabama, Penn State, Oregon. Maybe a little love for Ohio State, Washington. Maybe the best week of conference play we've had so far this year in the world of college football. Let's talk about all of it with my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. On a Thursday evening here in Northeast Florida, let's talk a little college ball next, right here on 1010XL on 92.5 FM. It's Hacker After Dark.
Your play-by-play home of Bulls Bulldogs football is 1010XL.
The Bulldogs are road dogs as they head to Baldwin Friday night at 6:30 on 1010 AM.
Hey, bro. Weirdest thing is happening at the game. This guy sitting next to me says, "You're our good luck charm. Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown. Now his entire family wants to buy me Bud Lights. I think I'm some kind of a football prophet. Talk soon. The team needs me."
Anything for Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Think we're experts on football, right? Well, it's time to prove it with Prize Picks. Kicking here for Prize Picks. Listen, you and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right, it gets you paid. So what are we experts on? Like the Jaguars. We know what Brian Thomas Jr. is going to do, and Prize Picks makes it fun. It's simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you cash in. Prize Picks also offers injury reboots. If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks doesn't count it as a loss. Prize Picks put their users first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Prize Picks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. Download the app today and use code 1010XL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code 1010XL. You get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $3,600 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more value at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Mike Dempsey for Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacksonville Beach. If your roof's got any damage, if it leaks, if it's just old and ugly, call my friends at Apex Roofing. But Mike, roofs are so expensive. It's true, quality roofing is not cheap, but Apex Roofing has up to 100% financing available, so you don't have to compromise quality for budget. Apex Roofing, no shortcuts, no stress, just quality work with financing available. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacksonville Beach. ApexRoofingFL.com.
Yo, Jacksonville, Hickens Hype. Checkmate Coatings crushes it with floors I'd put in my own pad.
I'm Brendan with Checkmate Coatings. We coat it all: garages, pool decks, driveways, and patios. Be the envy of your neighbors.
Rush to checkmatecoatings.com. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Jags fans, this one's for you. If you've got MyGate rewards, you're already in the game. But now you've got a shot at the ultimate prize, meeting QB1 himself, Trevor Lawrence, at Everbank Stadium with 3 friends by your side. With the MyGate Rewards Gatorade Club, every 5 Gatorade items you purchase equals 1 entry toward your chance to win. Stack them up and score big. See store for details. Gear up for the season. Gates got you.
Hey, David again here with Royal Pest Services. It's that time of year when rodents start making their way into our homes. Layson, tell them what they need to get in.
A quarter-size hole.
That's right. That's all they need. Hey, tell them where to go for a free attic and exterior inspection.
Visit RoyalPestServices.com.
Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. College football this weekend. Well, the good news for Florida fans is you can't lose. At least I don't think you can during a bye week after a 1-3 start as Florida licks their wounds to get ready for Texas. Florida State has their first road test of the year coming up against Virginia. And we got a big one in the SEC this week with Georgia and Alabama. Let's talk about all of it with my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Mr. Beard, how are you, sir?
Well, I'm excited about a tremendous Friday and Saturday in college football. It's probably the best week so far. I mean, week 1 was very good. I mean, I'm not talking about week 0. I mean, week 1. Well, but yes, a lot to be determined as conference action cranks up for everybody.
And we'll get to the games in a moment. Quickly, the SEC is releasing the future schedules, and of course they're going to 9 games, and you're going to have 3 common opponents for the next 4 years. And Florida, I guess, lucks out a little bit, Brent, because they're going to play Georgia every year to keep that rivalry. And also South Carolina and Kentucky, which means Tennessee and LSU and schools of that sort come off the schedule, at least on an every-year basis.
Yeah, I think they're going to do this 4 years, and then they will swap it up a little bit, which is a good deal. Now, next year, Florida plays Florida Atlantic and those strong Campbell Camels, and then they end with Florida State. So, and again, people are asking, well, why is there only 3 non-conference games? Is because we're going to 9 SEC games. So that's what's going to be very fascinating for next year, too. And Georgia, by the way, Western Kentucky, Louisville, and Georgia Tech, of course. So, heck, is a new world, is it not, my friend? And we're seeing it come to fruition. And the ACC now is going to 9 games. And what this means is with everybody basically playing 9 conference games, this means that we will be unified and we will increase the teams involved in the playoffs from 12 to 16 sooner than later.
That's exactly right. And again, for people that don't know, this is for the next 4 years, 26, 27, 28, 29. You'll have 6 conference rotating games, and you'll have 3 permanent opponents over the next 4 years. And for Florida, it appears it will be Georgia, South Carolina, and Kentucky that they will play for the next 4 years. You see Brent Beard on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, let's dive right in. We don't have a lot of time, and we have a lot of games to talk about. Does Florida State have any issues in Charlottesville on Friday night with Virginia?
I think by the time it's over, they don't. But the thing with Virginia is Virginia as well start, frankly, and chugging along, my friend, until that big game with hosting Miami coming up very soon.
I'll just mention this one time. I won't say it again. 30 years, Brent, since that Thursday night in Charlottesville where Warwick Dunn, I still think he scored, but they said he was down at the 1. It's been 30 years, and now you're going back to Charlottesville on a weeknight. We'll see what happens between Florida State and Virginia. It's a big week in the Southeastern Conference. We don't even really have time to talk about Notre Dame and Arkansas, which is a game that I like. Auburn, Texas A&M, you got to like the Aggies there. They're looking pretty good. Obviously, they're at home against Auburn. I love LSU Ole Miss. Let's stop right here. Your thoughts on the Tigers and the Rebels?
Both teams are playing well. Ole Miss may be playing a bit better. Look, I'm convinced that Lane Kiffin could put you and me in, and we would be successful in what he has done. So, big game. I mean, this is only Ole Miss is favored by basically a 1.5 is what it amounts to. And Trinidad Chambliss, who people had no idea who he was a few weeks ago, is the Rebel quarterback, averaging 417 total yards and 5 touchdowns. Garrett Nussmeier having a pretty good year himself, 337 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions in the win last week. Excellent game by far. At the games at Ole Miss, I would take Ole Miss in this game, and this is a game that Ole Miss basically had won last year, let it slip away for an LSU win, so there'll be a bit of a revenge factor here too.
You see Brent Beard on First Coast News. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, I'll tell you a sneaky good game that's not getting a lot of attention is Tennessee and Mississippi State in Starkville. Yes. Now, look, I think Tennessee is the better team, but give Mississippi State credit. They're 4-0. They have a victory over Arizona State already, and they get the Volunteers coming to Cowbell there in Starkville. Do they give the Vols some trouble on Saturday?
I think they could, at least for a while. State's 4-0 for the first time since 2014. How about that? So they are much better. There's no doubt about that, frankly. And they've got a transfer running back that you need to pay attention to, Fluff Bothwell. Fluff is his first name. Last week, 93 yards, which is a career high for him. But Joey Aguilar playing really well, the former UCLA quarterback. Boy, Tennessee got the better in that quarterback trade. Chris Braswell leads the league with 6 touchdown catches. But the Vols are playing well. But to your point, this is a much bigger game than anybody thought it would be, right, Hack, in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And, of course, Florida goes out to Starkville in a couple of weeks, so we'll have to see how that materializes. You got Kentucky and South Carolina as well in the SEC, but I want to get a lot of your thoughts, Brent, as we begin to wrap up on the biggest game to me of the conference slate on Saturday in the primetime slot between the hedges in Athens, the Crimson Tide and the Dogs. Huge game for Kalen DeBoer. Look, they laid an egg their last time out on the road against Florida State. Can they make amends for that by going into Georgia? And Georgia has just decided that they're never going to lose at home. I mean, their home winning streak is long. I mean, you're talking 5 years, I believe, 6 years since Georgia lost a home game in Athens. What do you think between Alabama and Georgia on Saturday night?
Well, at this point, I would take Georgia, despite Alabama's got a 2-game winning streak over them. They've won 9 of the last 10 meetings. Look, a lot would be made about both the quarterbacks, and I understand that, and that should happen. But the reality for this game is who's going to run the ball the best. And Georgia, by far, has been the better running. Maybe you can argue in some ways maybe the best running team in the league so far. And Bama has been okay. It's been nothing great being able to run the ball. But I think Alabama knows how important this game is. Ty Simpson at quarterback has been, frankly, tremendous. He's been very accurate, much more so than what Alabama went through last year. So Gunnar Stockton and Ty Simpson are going to make this a very interesting game. I do think Georgia wins, but would it surprise me if Alabama won? No. These are two tremendous teams in a crucial game early in the season for both of them.
If Georgia beats Alabama, does the pressure ratchet up on DeBoer again?
Probably. I mean, if it's a last minute loss, probably not. But and look, the reality of this is not only does Alabama have Georgia this week, people would have snickered about this last year. No more. They've got Vanderbilt next week at home, and then they've got Missouri shortly after that, and then Tennessee. So, look, for everybody in the conference, all of these games are crucial right now, aren't they?
Yeah, there's no doubt. Vandy's a lot of fun to watch, too. Diego Pavia is certainly living up to the billing. I really like them, and they have a pretty interesting game. They got a decent Utah State team coming in. You expect them to win that game to get to 5-0 before they travel out to Alabama. Brent, 60 seconds. The other big game nationally is in the Big Ten with Oregon and Penn State, that traditional rivalry there in the Big Ten between Oregon and Penn State. We'll figure out some things about Oregon and Penn State on Saturday as well.
Yeah, you know, Penn State will have a whiteout with that interfere with the game or intimidate Oregon. I doubt it. Dante Moore has been good. But this is more of a statement game for Drew Allar. Has another chance to beat a top 10 opponent. So, look, a lot of pressure on Penn State in this game. They're favored by 3.5. I still would kind of like Oregon, but Penn State really needs a signature win right now. I mean, they're improved. They've been better. But you and I both know they have not done what they need to do over the last few years. So this is a big game for them. And also, Hank, we can't forget Ohio State at Washington. We'll just mention that real quick. But that is a huge game for both those teams, too.
It's a big weekend nationally, as you mentioned, probably the best weekend we've had of the college football season. You see Brent Beard on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, enjoy all the action on Saturday. Next week, we'll be back to recap it and preview the Texas Longhorns making their long-awaited trip to Gainesville to play the Florida Gators. Appreciate you, my friend.
You too, brother. Take care.
Looking for a vacation from the ordinary? Celebrate the end of summer at Tobacco Cove. Join us Saturday, September 27th from 1 to 4 p.m. for a sensory getaway with Espinosa's Cigars. Discover exceptional cigars, delicious food, and your chance to win awesome prizes. Tobacco Cove at 3849 Bay Meadows Road. It's more than a cigar store, it's an experience. Don't miss out. Your escape awaits.
Hurricane season on the First Coast can leave you in the dark, so why not get a head start on storm season with a home generator system from American Electrical? They've sold and installed more generators in Jacksonville than any other company around, with scores of whole home generator installations throughout North Florida. That's right, American Electrical has been installing and repairing thousands of generators for over a decade in Duval. Keep your loved ones and property protected. Log on to american-electrical.com and see how they can help you.
Hi, I'm John Haney from Clearwater Gutters and Drainage. After heavy rains, the problems are obvious. Mulch blown out of your beds, water standing around your foundation, and that fancy new crater back behind your bushes. Let Clearwater Seamless Gutters help you solve the problem spots.
Clearwater Seamless Gutters. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at gutters.
And drainage, too.
Find out more at clearwaterjacks.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Frank Frangie for Lee and Kate's Glass. Still family owned and in business for 100 years. When they say you're going to see a big difference, that's for everything. Custom showers and spas, tabletops, mirrors, even replacing foggy windows, all at a more affordable price. And with your satisfaction absolutely guaranteed, Lee and Kate's Glass is your best choice. Visit leeandkatesglass.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
How many different denominations of paper money are currently being used?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
There are 7 denominations of U.S. currency: the 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 50, and $100 bills.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Yo, it's your main man, E to the T here. And have you been to Clay County lately? It's the perfect escape and just a short drive away. Hiking, paddling, fishing, and plenty more ways to enjoy the outdoors. This month, you can take on the Whistling Death 5 and 10K. Dig into bold flavors at the annual Soul Food Festival and enjoy fall festivals all across the county. Make the call this weekend and enjoy great times and make wonderful new memories, all in our area. Check out exploreclay.com to plan your weekend adventure. That's exploreclay.com.
San Jose Collision in Mandarin is proud to be an I-CAR Gold Class collision repair facility. That means they meet the industry's highest training standards. Experience the difference at San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. A big night of high school football tomorrow evening. Of course, you got Bowles and Baldwin, which you will hear on 1010 a.m. You will hear Bishop Kenny on 92.5 FM. After that, Dylan Denmark and myself will have the Friday Night Lights postgame, and it's a big district week across Northeast Florida. Let's talk about all of it with Marty Lee, the athletic director over at First Coast High School. Of course, Coach Lee was a coach in this area for many, many years, and he's always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Coach, how we doing?
We're doing good, Hacker, man. Like you said, it's a big week, boy. Big week coming up this coming Friday. And I know everybody's excited to see some good high school football.
You know, everybody, wants to win every game, and practice is always important every week. But when it's a district week, Coach, that amplifies it a little bit more, does it not?
Oh, there's no doubt about it, because you may not have gotten off to the start that you wanted for the season. But, if I win these district games, I have a chance to make the playoffs. And there's going to be several schools in the state of Florida that's going to be 2-8, 3-7, and make the playoffs because they won the games that matter. And then you're going to have some that are 8-2, 7-3, and they didn't play the schedule they probably should have played. The RPI ranking's not going to be good. and they're not going to make the playoffs. So this is a big week for a lot of schools.
Now let's start talking about some of these games. Again, not all district games in the area, but there are a ton of district games in the area. And let's begin with Oakleaf and Fletcher. Oakleaf coming off that loss to Bowles. A game, honestly, Coach, that I was surprised Bowles dominated the way they did. You know, Oakleaf is anxious to get back out there. They play a very good, maybe under-the-radar Fletcher team. What do you think about Oakleaf and Fletcher?
Well, you know, it's a great duel between those two schools. And a lot of people don't realize that Coach Foy used to work at Fletcher High School, and now he's the head coach over at Oakleaf. And they played a difficult schedule. They kind of got behind the 8 ball a little bit and had to throw the ball more than they're used to. I know that he likes to pound that ball. But his schedule has made it where they're a little bit, I think, more prepared than Fletcher. But Fletcher has been flying under the radar. It was funny, Seatric made the comment, I lose to Nice, and I went up in the rankings, and the other schools I beat dropped me. So it makes a big difference. That's going to be a good ball game there, you know, at the beach and that, you know, in that District 2 6A.
Yeah, Oakleaf and Fletcher tomorrow night. Another one out in Clay County. Under the radar is Middleburg. Admittedly, I think Ryan Wolf will tell you, they scheduled it to where they wanted to be healthy heading into district play. Probably Middleburg's toughest test of the year tomorrow night against Orange Park.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And I think Orange Park is a shocker to a lot of people. I think when they went in a couple of weeks ago and beat Riverside, that caught a lot of people's attentions. I know it caught Fleming Islands, and they didn't take them for granted. That's going to be a good ball game out there in Clay County. There's no doubt about it. Two good physical football teams, two teams that's going to want to run the football. It'll be a good ground and pound game, that's for sure.
Nice and St. Augustine was fantastic last week. You know it would be. Let's begin with Nice. They have to get over that loss to their in-county rival, and their reward for that tomorrow night is a trip to Gainesville to take on Buchholz. How tough will that be for the Panthers?
Boy, that is a difficult place to go play. And they got an outstanding athlete, and that kid, Justin Williams. But, boy, you got to give Nice's defense a lot of credit. Let me tell you something. Citizens Field is not a great field to play on if it rains. Now, there's a chance it could rain tomorrow. It's not the best field in town, but it's a tough environment. And Buchholz is a state power. It's going to be a good road test for Nice. And I think if they can get back to doing what they're doing, tough loss they had last week against St. Aug. But, the great thing about it is both of these teams should make the state playoffs, but it's going to go a long way in determining who the district champion is.
A couple of more for Coach Marty Lee, who's with us previewing the Friday Night Lights action this week here on Hacker After Dark. Speaking of St. Augustine, boy, when you already have wins over Bowles and Nice, you've done a lot already early in the year. Now Lake City, Columbia comes into St. Johns County tomorrow night. What do you think between Columbia and the Yellow Jackets?
I mean, it's going to be a good physical football game. Columbia head coach just got his 100th victory. Both of them are 5-0. Both of these teams are going to make the state playoffs. But it makes a big difference whether or not you're going to travel, Hacker. If I'm the district champ, I get to host some ball games. And so going into St. Augustine is a difficult environment. The biggest thing for St. Aug is they've had some emotional games the last couple of weeks. Will he have them? Will Braddock have them ready to play? Normally he does. He's a good coach getting ready for district games. That's going to be a really good ball game to go watch.
Clearly Bowles is the best team in their district. I'm not breaking any news there. But if they have the biggest challenge, it'll probably come tomorrow night with Baldwin, will it not?
It will. And, and Baldwin's done a really good job. But, Hacker, just being honest, boy, the matchup's not very good. If Bowles comes to play and plays their A game, it's going to be very difficult for Baldwin. Being at Baldwin is a good advantage. That's, you get that hometown crowd getting going and go get you a little barbecue and you're ready to see some football. But, Baldwin should, again, if they stay the course, they should make the playoffs. But they're going to have some things go their way for them to beat Bowles.
Couple more for the head coach, Marty Lee. Out in St. Johns County, Ponte Vedra, 3-2. I think they're very good. They have a nice test. You mentioned Fleming Island, one of the best in Clay County against one of the best in St. Johns County tomorrow night, Coach.
Oh, and this is big because people don't realize they've already started their district. And Fleming Island's 1-0. Ponte Vedra losing to Beachside last week is 0-2. Ponte Vedra cannot afford to lose this ball game. Here we are in week 6. And if they lose this ball game, they're in jeopardy of not making the state playoffs because that district is so competitive. You know, when you only take 8 teams in a region from your classification, it's hard if you have 3 or 4 losses and you've got some other guys. So I really believe this is a must-win situation for Ponte Vedra.
There's no doubt Bartram Trail got off to a rough start here. Maybe they found themselves last week a little bit in that victory over Orange Park. They welcome into Coy Creek. Do you think Bartram starts rattling off a few wins in a row here?
They got to. I feel like they've got their foundation set now. They played some tough competition. You know, they lost a lot of kids when they opened up that Coy Creek and Beachside. But that's a good, strong coach in that program right there, and it ought to be a good ball game. And again, they're in a situation they have to win. If they lose this ball game, they're going to be behind the 8 ball and probably just looking out to play for character and pride for the rest of the year.
Coach, I want to give you guys over at First Coast a little love. You got a big one against Mandarin tomorrow night. We'll get to there in a moment. But I kind of like the matchup between Christ Church and Episcopal. I look at this game, and I look at Christ Church, and admittedly my son goes there, so I'm a little closer to that program. Christ Church maybe wants to be Episcopal in the next 5, 6, 7 years. They're building a new sports facility at Christ Church's campus. The team they're probably aspiring to be in Episcopal hosts them tomorrow night. That should be a good ball game.
It should be a really good ball game. And that, like you said, that program is on the up. You know, they're building a new facility out there, that administration there, the faculty, the community, they're buying into what they're doing. And like you said, they want to be where Episcopal is. You know, they might not be to that level yet, but if you go out, play a good ball game, play hard, a lot of times that foundation is set for you to build for the future. You don't always have to win every football game to know that you're headed in the right direction. What you don't want to do is go into that ball game and get blowed out, because then you feel like you've got a lot of stuff that you thought you had accomplished. Now you got to go back and work on a little bit more. But that ought to be a really good football game.
Final moments with Marty Lee. That brings us to you guys over there at First Coast. You guys have had a very good year. Under the radar, but a very good year. You welcome in Mandarin in a big district game. We all know how big Mandarin and First Coast used to be. Hopefully it can get back to that point. What's the thought about you guys in Mandarin tomorrow night?
Well, I know that the excitement at the school is above the rooftop right now. You know, us being 3-1, Jarvis is on a 3-game winning streak. You know, Toby used to coach for me. He's got that powerhouse over at Mandarin. A lot of people said, well, Coach, why did he play IMG? IMG blew him out. Well, you know, that's a nationally ranked, hand-picked, Division I football team. But what people don't realize is that Mandarin made over $40,000. There's some programs that won't make that the entire year. You know, that District 2, 6A, I was saying to you earlier, they're 15-4 overall. All 4 teams are very competitive. There are going to be 2 teams sitting at home in this district. Okay, and so this is a big ball game, for Jarvis. Mandarin coming to town. I'm excited about what he's doing. I'm excited about what Toby's done over at Mandarin High School. It's kind of like you got the super sophomores, the quarterback and wide receiver, going against the super seniors, the 2 seniors at First Coast that play on both sides of the ball. So it ought to be a really good football game starting at 6:30 at First Coast High School.
Coach, I know I just laid a lot of games out for you. It's a really good Friday night of high school football here in the area. If people are looking to go to a ball game tomorrow night, where are you sending them? What are the best games to go to?
Well, I like you said, if I'm over at that side of town, I'm going to Christ Church and Episcopal. I think that's a good football game for you to go watch. If you're on the north side, no doubt about it, you should come to Mandarin First Coast. That's going to be a ball game. If I'm down there in St. Aug, there's no other place I'd rather be than Columbia and St. Augustine. And a lot of people don't realize a situation right here, and the numbers don't look good, but if you look at Creekside playing Sandalwood. They're 1-4 and Sandalwood's 0-5, but it's a 3-team district. The loser of this game is basically out. The winner has a chance, like I said earlier, to only maybe win 2 or 3 ball games and make the state playoffs. So there's some really good football games going on. And, I think Ed White playing Merritt Island, that's going to be a big ball game for them, even though it's not a district ball game. That game may decide whether or not they go undefeated for the rest of the season. So there's some really good ball games, in that situation.
Should be a fun Friday night all over Northeast Florida. Marty Lee, the athletic director at First Coast High School. Coach, thank you as always. We'll do it again next week.
I do appreciate it, and I appreciate what you guys do for Friday Night Football.
Marty Lee of First Coast, always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. And again, a fun night. We're going to have Baldwin and Bowles on 10:10 a.m. tomorrow. We will have Bishop Kenny and Parker on 92.5 FM. And after that Bishop Kenny-Parker game goes final, myself and Dylan Denmark will have the Friday Night Lights postgame tomorrow night beginning roughly about 9:15, 9:30 or so. And we will take you for a couple of hours talking to Victoria's head coaches all over the area. Well, that will just about do it, man. A very, very busy Thursday night edition of Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, Marty Lee, the athletic director over there at First Coast High School. Thank you to my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark as we took a look at both Florida State, Virginia, Alabama, Georgia, a little LSU, Ole Miss, and the rest of the big games on the college football slate this week. Jose Sanchez, 49ers on SI. Jose has been my guy in San Francisco for many, many years, and we appreciate his San Francisco 49er perspective on this game Sunday between Jacksonville and San Francisco. And back in hour number one, Cecil Shorts, former Jaguar wide receiver. You get him every week here on Hacker After Dark, and we certainly appreciate Cecil joining me tonight to preview the Jaguars and the 49ers. As far as predictions, give me Florida State over Virginia tomorrow. I will take Georgia over Alabama. And as far as Jacksonville and the 49ers go, look, I'm 3-0 in picking the Jaguars. Picked them to beat Carolina and picked them to beat Houston. I did pick them to lose to Cincinnati, so I'm 3-0 so far. Look, San Francisco's beat up, but at the end of the day, the Jaguars have to prove to me they can go out west and win. They're 4-15 lifetime in the Pacific time zone. They're 1-11 in their last 12 true road games. That alone makes it tough for me to pick Jacksonville to win this game. Despite San Francisco being beat up, I think the 49ers find a way to get it done. I hope I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong. But give me San Francisco by a touchdown. I like the 49ers 23, Jacksonville 16. Regardless of what happens in that Jaguar 49er game, I'll be with you on Sunday along with Leon Searcy and Gerald Ingram 2 hours after the Jaguars and the 49ers go final for the fifth quarter right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. I also invite you to join me not only for Friday Night Lights on the radio tomorrow, but Friday Night Lights with Channel 4 and 1010XL. Myself and Justin Barney will be streaming on the social media platform of both Channel 4 and 1010XL beginning at 7 o'clock tomorrow night as we react in real time to all the high school action going on all over the area. And, of course, tomorrow morning, Dylan Denmark and myself will have the Gator Bites podcast on the 1010XL social media channels as we react to what happened to Miami. We look ahead to the bye week, kind of the middle portion of the year. We hope you do join us tomorrow morning a little after 8 a.m. for the Gator Bites podcast. Dylan Denmark.